Francis, what is this? What is that? Did you do that, Francis? Who did that?
Depression.
What happened?
Did you crawl up on the counter and knock the butter down and eat it? Yep, you're licking your chops. You sure in heck did.
Francis, what is this? What is that? What is that?
Horrible. I was a bad boy. Hi guys, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Monday, January 25th, and today Mercury goes direct. I am telling you, this was a really hard retrograde for me, and Annette's Astrology Corner, I had all kinds of technical difficulties and communication errors, most of all because it was involving my business, which is my goal, and to make it, of course, productive and efficient and, you know, highly organized. And then, of course, all those things fell through. But also, you know, it being, you know, dipping into some Aquarian energy, it's all about making you think about those future goals while reflecting in the past. And so it really was an eye-opener for me in a lot of ways. I spent a lot of time in reflection, as many of you did. Now Mercury goes direct in Capricorn. And so what does that mean in a general sense? So when Mercury goes direct, it means that in general we can start to push forward and, you know, seek out some of the energy that's been building in the reflective energy. Now, many people talk a lot about shadow periods. I know that can be kind of confusing for many of you. I have to tell you, there is some controversy about the whole shadow period side of things. And my take on it, I have to say, is I believe that the energy builds back to full speed. I do deeply feel that energetically. But what I more importantly feel like is just a general sense of relief. Things start to smooth out. You know, you start to become more clear and decisive in your thinking. You start to pull yourself out of reflective thinking, but you don't. The thing about the shadow period is the shadow period allows us to be in reflective energy, yet move forward. And so we still factor in that energetic connection to, you know, the reflective energy. And I believe that that's what it is. I believe you can buy things and you can move forward and, you know, you can persevere and have success in shadow periods. And, you know, I've never, personally me, as I've studied it all of these years, I've never regretted making a decision in a shadow period. I have regretted, you don't even want to know how bad I have regretted making decisions when Mercury was in retrograde. So that's my take on it. There are many opinions on this particular issue, but I wanted to give you that because I get some questions on the shadow period quite often, and so that's my take. So Mercury in Capricorn goes direct for me where it wants me to start initiating the goals that I have been reflecting upon. There's much to consider still as your thoughts become clearer, as you contemplate, you know, where things went wrong in the past, and, you know, as people are re-entering your life from the past, as you are revisiting past goals, you are aligning them with the future and the present. So that is what you will be doing when it moves forward. And Capricorn, it's all about your goals. It's all about structure. It's all about foundation. It's about, you know, getting the loan to start the business. You know, it's about maybe aligning yourself with, you know, maybe putting out some resumes in the area that you want to live if you were caught in the fourth house reflection. It does have a lot to do with when Mercury goes direct, where this particular energy was at when it actually fell into retrograde. And then also you can even reflect, if you really want to get really precise with energy, you want to go back to the last time that Mercury was in retrograde in Aquarius in Capricorn energy. So it's very important to kind of consider all this when you're making your decisions, as I'm sure that many of you, whether you wanted to or not, ended up facing this particular energy. So anyhow, guys, stay tuned, because I'm going to tell you how this is going to affect your sun, your rising, and your Mercury sign. Hi Aries, this is Annette with Annette Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mercury going direct in Capricorn. And for you, all of this is going to be happening in Capricorn's favorite energy source, in your career, life path, destiny. So you have been caught in a reflective energy where your ruler has been asking you to transform or to think about ways that you can transform your situation, regenerate an old goal or an old relationship, really focus on your potential and moving forward energy in those potentials. And it has been in a very lovely conversation with Pluto and with Mercury, and your ruler have all been talking to each other in this beautiful sextile energy. So what this says to me is that there is a change coming in your career, life path, destiny. You will feel very aligned with this change. I think at this point, as you've been reflecting, it's become clear to you that something does need to change, that you are worthy of more. There's a value that's you need to place higher on the contribution that you have in your career, life path, destiny, and the fact that you should be compensated for that particular contribution to their company. And if so, many of you may be thinking about venturing out on your own and, creating the income source for yourself. And you now have the inspiration as you've revisited some of those past-based career, life path, destiny goals. This is an increase in confidence and willpower and personal power, especially when you have Pluto conjunct with Mercury in Capricorn in this very, very regenerating, re-energized part of your chart. This change will increase your confidence, but more importantly, you will be thinking of aligning yourself with some social groups that may have some sort of special connection to opportunity in the career, life path, destiny that you're going to choose. And so you're going to need that extra boot. Not that you guys ever have a problem with confidence, but this is just a general, people feel like you're a leader in this energy. And as you're seeking out this new way or some sort of recognition, maybe some of you are setting out toward a goal of like a management position. You want to seek some sort of authority type role in your businesses. It's very aligned to start doing this and to be compensated for that negative vibration in this energy is that, be mindful that some of your futuristic thinking is going to be a lot for people to get on board with. So what you have to do is align yourself with some social groups that offer support and all kinds of perspectives, so that when you're going after this goal that you want to attain, that you can speak on all levels. What can be very difficult in this energy and could lower your vibration in this energy is that you could become very fixed on the goal that you want to attain. And then you become very pushy and domineering with that particular opinion, and it really puts people off. And then you lose your whole audience and you lose the actual opportunity. So be very mindful that there is a finesse that you are going to need to have in order to pull all of this off that you want to pull off. Now, be mindful that Venus as well is, going to be in Capricorn energy. And for you, when you have all of this beautiful, just gorgeous karmic career, life path, destiny, conversations happening, and you have Pluto and Capricorn, Pluto and Mercury and Capricorn, and this very transformative part of your chart, it's actually a really great time to kind of be charming. This is very charming, flirty, fun energy for you in a very high vibration. And this could be one of those ways that you get people on board with what you want to do, because there's just this charisma about you that people can't help but be attracted to, and this beautiful sextile energy. Anyhow, guys, I love talking with you about Mercury going in direct. Just don't become impatient, lock and load on a goal, but don't, force the goal on others. Don't become impatient in this energy, because then you lose this gorgeous sextile. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Taurus, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mercury going direct in Capricorn. Yay! Finally, we're out of a Mercury retrograde period. And so for you, your ruler has been in this very elevated part of your chart. This is where you're elevating your thinking.
Sorry, I was trying to do it.
No, honey, I love you. Don't worry about it. I'm just kidding. So for you, your ruler being in this part of your chart is seeking to expand a goal that you have in some sort of partnering energy. Now, this doesn't have to be a relationship goal. It could be merely a union where you guys are collaborating and setting a goal for the future that actually elevates the social status level, or the status that you would like to at some point in your life to attain. So there could be some sort of amazing common interest between the two of you that you guys just sync on, and so there's a connection that's forming and elevating that whole experience. Maybe you're starting to research out like a different path completely, and it could have something to do with creative energy as well. I'm not gonna lie, definitely it is something to do with a collaborating project, a union of some sort. So it's in your ruler is in a gorgeous sextile with Neptune. Neptune is dreams and hopes. Neptune is creativity. Neptune is the illusion that we create that gives us just this, this childlike enthusiasm to go pursue a goal. We don't really think about, so much about all of the limitations that we have, but that there is this beautiful possibility that's absolutely destined from the illusion that you're creating, and you need that. When you're starting to go in a completely different direction, what you need is a state of delusion or illusion about it. And because that is what gets you over the logic and talking yourself out of things and becoming pessimistic and starting to see that there's limitations that maybe you can't hurdle over. Well, when you have Neptune involved in this, it's not about, the whole seeing it for the limitations. It's about seeing it for the potential. This also has to do with you maybe surrounding yourself with a whole new social group. Social media may be playing a big role in the acceptance of this new concept that you are starting to embark upon, this expansive opportunity that you are creating. So partnering energy will lead you to an elevated thinking that is absolute. And even if it's a friend that you're collaborating with, which is highly supported in this energy, you may find that this friend then turns you on to something that can completely change your career, life path, destiny, all for the better. Mixing business and pleasure is something to be wary of in a lower vibration in this energy. As you get creative and as you start to get enthusiastic and dreamy, and as you start to have a big support system around you that starts to engage you and support you, and you start to make a lot of social connections, attraction can build in those areas because it's like-minded energy. Don't mistake attraction for attracting energy to you. The key to all of this is not getting consumed in the wrong energy. What you want to do is be consumed in elevating your circumstance, your goals, securing your foundation. And if you get lost in, wow, there's, as I'm making more connections, I'm getting more opportunities, socially, you may get caught up in the wrong energy, because what this is about is it's about expansion. It's about taking your life to the next level. And the only way that you can sometimes do that is through these social circles. So you don't, and the other thing that I want you to be incredibly wary of is that sometimes, you can burn a bridge by introducing a romantic intention into some of these social relationships that you're starting to develop, because they're opportunistic, and so mixing business and pleasure is, I don't think it's going to be supported whatsoever in this energy. Getting caught in a routine of not pleasure seeking, not using all of this beautiful sextile energy for your advantage and pleasure seeking. It is for expansion. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, Gemini. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mercury and Capricorn goes direct. Yay for you. This is hot news, big news, news flash, because guess what? This is your ruler. And when your ruler goes into retrograde, your mojo is off. You just feel off. You feel like you don't have the same kind of, finesse with words or technology or communication. And that can be super frustrating when it's your skill, when it's something that you're usually having the advantage over others, right? So for you, all of this is going to be happening in a very transformative part of your chart. Now, we have been caught in reflective energy. What this does for you especially, because you're such a fast mover, you've got lots going on, you're inundated. What it does is it shuts down input for you so that you can become reflective. And when you become reflective, then you can fine-tune all of the information that has been flooding your senses since the last Mercury retrograde. And more importantly, since the last time that Mercury was in retrograde in Aquarius and Capricorn thinking. And so you need to fine-tune something. So now you've thought, you put some thought, you've revisited maybe a past issue that had maybe took you down a few pegs in your life, or a person may have come back into your past from your past to tempt you in an area of your life where you may have fell in the past. And how did you pass the test? That's the key in this type of energy, because that's when what we called refined thinking, elevated learning. As we go through that test, then what it does is confirm that, oh my gosh, I'm past that level of learning. So for you, when this happens, then positive energy starts to flow into this particular type of lesson, and you attract opportunity once you've elevated yourself past this point. So for you, your ruler right now is conjunct with Pluto in the house that rules transformation and regeneration and rebirth of new ideas, of new goals. So here's what happens. This is an empowering time for you if you use it to your advantage. This is about seeking, looking at the past and seeing where you went wrong. But it's also about taking that lesson from the past. Possibly you overcame it in this testing period of Mercury retrograde. And then what happened is you now have a clarity in thought. And for you, that's golden, because once you are clear in your thinking, then after that comes some of the most beautiful manifestation of positive energy in your life. So this is healing energy. This is feeling more present and more alert and more in touch with what you deeply desire on a deep level as far as in foundation, but more psychologically. I think you're starting to finally feel that you have a lot figured out as far as your future-based goals are concerned. And home and family is a lovely energy for you. Perhaps this is about you reflected and you are overcoming some childhood issues, some deep ones, some ones that have been psychologically causing you to self-sabotage some of your forward-moving energy. Perhaps some of you have revisited, your home. You actually went back home, or you traveled and went back home, or there was something that happened where, you realigned that whole situation that had caused some sort of conflict with an authority figure in your home. Perhaps even more so yet, some of you have developed a deep passion to set forth some powerful routines that you will implement that will allow you to have progression in your life, not keep spinning your wheels doing the same, self-destructive thing over and over again. But this is about the energy that causes you to, keep turning those wheels and actually get to the next destination in your life. Now, where negative energy can lie is in Uranian energy. Right now, it is having a serious conversation with Pluto, and it is in a square that is a difficult angle in energy. So you have Mercury, the way that you think, and of course your ruling planet is in conjunct with Pluto and Capricorn, squaring off with this Uranian energy. So what this has to do with is friendships for some of you. Friendships for some of you, or social networking, is where some problems may lie in how you identify yourself, how you set rituals for yourself. So perhaps some of you have these rituals where you get lost on the internet, right? You start searching around on the internet, you spend hours just fluttering around from subject to subject, but there's no intent in your research, right? There's no firm direction that you're going. And so as I don't know if you've ever done this, but you can be on YouTube. And when you're on YouTube, you can start out by a very informative video about, maybe, for me, it's always like some sort of editing program, or it's some sort of graphic issue, I'm trying to do, or graphic project, and by the time I'm done, I'm watching somebody, do something funny, a prank video that has no mental expansion whatsoever, except for fracking makes me laugh, which is very childish of me, but it's also very Gemini energy. We like to laugh and have a good time, and so we misdirect our energy from being this, our intelligent selves into this, childlike, pleasure-seeking energy that just wants to make ourselves feel good. And we can do that, and then it scatters our energy. It scatters our focus. And so be very mindful of that. And this energy also, friends can be a huge problem. If they are distracting you from your goals, if they are wanting to go out and have a good time and pleasure seek, and if you used to identify yourself in some sort of circles that caused you to lose your footing, perhaps they interfered in relationships that provided a solid foundation, but you wanted to get your flirt on, and maybe you had to do a little bit of, doing stuff on the sly to be able to appease both sides, your foundation, your solid structure. Sorry, it's just itching me. Your solid structure, but also you're getting your kind of little flirt on and getting the attention that you desire. That is highly not supported, and it can cause one hell of a Uranian moment as it shakes and rattles and rolls the foundation that you are trying so desperately to stabilize at this point. It's highly not supported. Remember to keep your dreams very realistic. Don't make them so idyllic in your head that you are not focusing on the structure and foundation that you are trying to, stabilize at this point. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. guys, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mercury going direct in Capricorn. Now, dear Cancer, this is in a part of your chart that I think makes you feel incredibly vulnerable. Now, the 7th house is the opposite house of Cancer energy, and it is putting a mirror up and showing you, others show you what you're deficient in. In this energy, I am happy to say that there is a beautiful forward energy that is blessing you with harmony and peace and hope for the future. So we have two energies that I want to talk about. First of all, we have the previous energy of the full moon, and we're still in that full moon. We're in those full moon periods for 30 days. But also, we're also still in the Leo moon at the same time. So this is about feeling valued. Perhaps you are starting to feel the love and and some harmonious energy in partnering. And perhaps some of you are starting to feel like, there's acceptance and there's just this feeling of appreciation. More importantly, you're starting to let go of some of your inability to accept how others view you, and you're starting to become more real in the partnerships that you're seeking. So this has to do with two areas of others. This has to do with how others perceive you in your home, your work, your life path destiny. It also has to do with in your partnerships. But in both areas, I'm glad to say that you are harmoniously blessed. We have the planet of power, which is Pluto in Capricorn, conjunct with Mercury going direct at this time in Capricorn. So what this means is that there's an appreciation for what you do. There's an appreciation for the direction that you are starting to take. I believe that there's some sort of recognition in the areas where you are pouring your heart and soul into. The relationships that you are establishing in both your work and in your personal relationships are starting to become this blissful source of fulfillment. And that's very important, because what happens with a crab is they start to come out of their shell more, and they start to absolutely delight others with the highest form of Cancer energy, which is just this loving, nurturing soul that wants to shed hope and take others in and bring out a really positive, emotional support system for those that are in need. That is a really gorgeous part of being a Cancer energy. And I feel like you are starting to understand that the collaborations that you have been setting up, as far as in your work, life path destiny, you have this unique perspective that I think others are starting to actually recognize and actually invest in the way that you had hoped that they would. There's no negative energy in this particular energy shift for you, and it could be energy that you just simply get to sit back in and watch your goal manifest as the flow. It's kind of like you're floating down the river right now, and you're just on that inner tube, and you're laying out and you're just basking. There's no turbulence whatsoever. You can create opportunity out of this, because it's also gorgeous energy that allows acceptance for everything that you want to manifest. But it can also be that inner tube energy where you're just floating down the river and you get to enjoy and reap the rewards of some of the hard work that you've been pouring into your goals. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, Leos, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mercury going direct in Capricorn. We no longer have this huge obstacle in our goals and thinking. Thank God. Now, everybody talks about the shadow period. I talked about it at the beginning, but for me, I feel really, really jazzed by this energy. Now, your sun is in Aquarius right now. And that is in the opposite energy that you feel super comfortable in. Now, I'm a Leo on the cusp of Cancer, and when I get around Aquarians, they frustrate me, but I love them. I'm addicted to Aquarians. but that their fixed regimented thinking and my childlike enthusiasm to just shine brightly can conflict. And so I think that's what you're going through in this. You have a goal, a creative project. You have something that you want to move forward with, and you want to set up routines that support moving forward. Now, here's where the clincher is. This event, this Mercury moving forward, is going to affect the area of your life where you set up routines, how you implement the changes that you want to make, how you start to create forward movement. And that is frustrating because there are limitations in this energy for you that you have got to actually stabilize. And that can be super hard when you just want to gung-ho, play, go have fun, move forward, create. You're just in this zone of like, okay, I've been limited long enough. I've been in reflective energy. It's time to let the child out of the house that they've been locked in and just go let loose. But you have this deeply intense situation possibly happening in your home and family environment that you really honestly have to put some focus on. Understand, if we stabilize our home and family, our home, our actual foundation where we go to every day, then that creates a solid footing every time that we, come across a challenge. For some of you, you may have had some issues with a major authority figure in your life. As you know, Pluto and Capricorn is squaring off with Uranus and Aries, and may have caused some sort of sudden upset regarding your home and family situation, or with this authority figure, or it could be at work. You could have all of this amazing gung-ho energy, and then there was something shook up the work environment, and it's caused you to have to reevaluate your routines. And that's frustrating. That's tedious energy for you. You are a very big-hearted energy, and you want to be out there creating, but there's something that is really, really, allowing you to be more practical about what you're passionate about, and not so much about initiating action as it is overcoming something and transforming the situation that you're currently in. So this is very forward-thinking energy. You've got your sun in Aquarius. It's problem-solving, highly intellectual energy. This is thinking cap energy for you. And so you're going to have to work a little bit at that whole looking at it from a unique perspective, trying a different approach, bridging where there was some sort of unexpected turbulence, and trying to stabilize the situation once again so that there can be forward and progressive movement. And that could be super, super, super frustrating. For some of you, there could have been an ending, or there could have been something that almost brought about an ending that you really need to pour a little bit of your energy in. For many of you, where your sun is at has to do with your relationships. More importantly, the unions than the bonds that you're creating. And so, as you're trying to collaborate, get everybody on board with what you're trying to do, something happened in the home and family during the reflective period that brought back some past issues. You absolutely have to pour some energy in resolving before forward movement can be achieved. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi Virgo, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mercury moving into Capricorn. Yay, this is your ruler. When your ruler is in retrograde, it sucks because you have all of this ambitious, goal-oriented energy, progressive energy, and career life path destiny, and solidifying your foundation, and impressing the higher ups, and trying to strive for maybe a higher position in the company. And then you have this retrograde energy and reflective energy where you have to take a look at your past goals. You have to take a look at how you can implement those those lessons learned in past goals, and you have to, you know, incorporate that in your current life. So Mercury is in Capricorn right now, and Pluto is in Capricorn right now, conjunct. So this is about impressing somebody, either that you have a romantic intention with, or that it's regarding some sort of creative endeavor or something that you deeply desire on a pleasurable level. So you have been revisiting this. You've been thinking about all the areas that where you sustain. Sorry, it's I always get itchy when I start to do my videos. It's so dumb. Anyhow, so you have beautiful, gorgeous energy and progressive movement. This is about personally empowering yourself to start to embark upon maybe some past-based goal that you had, that you really actually feel energized, that you have enough cojones to want to be able to pull off. So for you, you are doing some big thinking, big thinking, and all of this reflective energy has really re-energized some parts of you that I think that you understand that you have to make some changes in. So it's in love, career, and you're aligning your life with what you desire in this energy, more importantly. Reflective energy has stimulated you to make these changes. And so you have Mars in Scorpio, which is a very passionate energy source to have Mars in, because if you desire it, if you deeply desire it, then you're going to feel that you are exceptionally motivated to think of ways to get what you want, to fixate, to obsess over all of the details, and to align yourself with the confidence to want to fine-tune this goal. This is very healing energy. We're talking about healing and restoring energy that allows you to collaborate and unionize with possible partners. Partners are on every single level. They can be at work. They can be some sort of authority figure that you've been trying to impress. They can be an actual partner in your life where you guys have had some reflective energy and talked about what you want to do to create progressive movement moving forward. Where the energy falls into negative vibrations is, this is asking a lot of you, right? This is asking you to have strength and determination and persevere and transform many of these situations that seem to have obstacles that were somewhat intimidating for you. You're going to have to get past areas in your life where you may have lost personal power in, so that you can achieve these goals that you're wanting to attain. But that's a big bill. Like, that's asking you to do a lot. And I know that when I've had to set forth routines in life where I had to individuate myself and stand tall and stand up, especially against authority figures. I have Venus in Virgo, so I have Virgo energy in me. And so I know that sometimes I can actually be hypercritical of myself and talk myself out of the challenge in order to play it safe and I don't know, like, I get nervous that people are going to be hypercritical of my ambitious state and then, you know, put me down and that I'm going to suffer some sort of ego blow. So you have to overcome that. This is about aligning yourself with the way that you freely express your desires, your goals, and you really honestly expect people to be on board with them. And that can take an alignment with personal power that maybe some of you who are making big changes don't actually have right now, because you have been being too hypercritical of yourself. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi Hi guys, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading. Dear Libra, for Mercury goes direct in Capricorn. We are no longer caught in a retrograde, which is amazing! Because guess what? I can communicate effectively finally. Damn, that sucked. Anyhow, so your ruler right now is sitting in where you are reflecting about your home and family. Sometimes your home can represent your spiritual home, the home, your body, the home that you reside in your mind, where you take all of what you learned as a child and you either try to fill up buckets or you try to fulfill buckets that you learned as a child. So I'll give you, for instance, about what I'm talking about. For some of you, you may have had a really supportive family system that was always on board with any changes that you needed to make. So some of you had these goals about, going to medical school and you achieved them, or becoming a lawyer, that's Libra in energy, or becoming some sort of in the legal field, which, required extensive schooling. But there are many people that don't get lucky and fortunate enough to have that support system. And so what they end up doing is there were deficiencies in their life where they spend their entire life trying to overcome psychologically. And I think that for many people, that is the energy source that you're in when you're taking a look at everything. So Mercury going direct in Capricorn suggests that what you're focusing on is very goal-oriented energy regarding a home and family. Now, for some of you, since Venus is in Capricorn, this could mean beautifying your home, building a home, looking for a different home. Maybe there was a place in your past that you used to want to live. Maybe you have revisited searching for that dream home. Maybe this is about building that dream home. You guys had this goal to get, as you've combined your life with a family, and maybe it's about moving everybody into a brand new space that both of you can occupy instead of just moving in with one person. Maybe you've combined your partnerships at some point in your life, or you've combined your life and you've moved in with somebody who you moved into their home. This is about changing that home into being a source that reflects both of your personality types. That's part of the energy, beautifying the home, making it more you, allowing you to feel stable and happy and fulfilled in your own home. All that energy is exactly what this particular transit is about. So for you, I think this is a personal expression of what you desire your home and family to be. This is about the idyllic view that you have of that situation and aligning your goals with that. So let's say you've been living with a partner and you want to get married, right? And that partner has expressed to you that they have no desire to be married. But in your idyllic thinking, you have that commitment on paper, and you have that family, and you are, moving yourself into that home and changing the home to reflect your energy. It's very important that you start to move upon those goals that align you with that type of thinking. Now, this has a very beautiful energy source behind it. So this is why I keep seeing that there is more creative flair to what's going on in the home and family. I do believe that it has a lot to do with how you grew up. Maybe you grew up in a home and family where you never felt accepted, where you were always working behind the scenes and appeasing everybody, but you never had that energy that allowed you to express who you were in your home and family. So now what you're doing is bringing forth all of that energy, and you're gonna say, nope, I want the walls painted this color, and I want the house to look like this because this reflects my personality. Maybe I'm a peacekeeper and I love balance and I love that. So maybe you're gonna start to incorporate some art that reflects the type of energy source that you are, or maybe you're starting to turn the entire family onto this particular balancing type energy. That's very possible in this energy, where you can fall into some negativity is when we start to dive into the psychological processes of where we were deficient in our home and family. So what I want you to be very mindful of is the high energy of that is to fill our empty buckets, places that we were deficient as a child in our home and family, with really positive aspects of ourselves. Where you want to stay away from is when you start to fall into thinking where you had power and control issues with masculine energy that was in some sort of power and control. And that doesn't have to mean a male. It can mean a female. Maybe a female energy overpowered you. And so what you are doing is creating that same limiting situation where you are overpowering your household to feel some sort of power and control over that. And so you're starting to dominate rituals and dominate routines and starting to create structure to feel some sense of power and control over this. Now remember that this event right now has some very interesting dynamics. Mercury is going direct, but it is actually conjunct Pluto and Capricorn, which is also squaring off with Uranian energy at this particular moment. So you want to be mindful that because you have Venus in Capricorn, Capricorn energy is going through a major testing energy. For some of this is a very empowering energy. It's very forward-moving energy. It's solidifying our goals. For some of us, it is facing where we lose power, where we've lost power. It's facing where we have empty buckets within us, and that we need to align our thinking with empowering thoughts. So it's a beautiful energy for you. There's a lot of gorgeous energy in creativity. And, where the energy is the highest that I feel for you dramatically is the fact that this is in creativity. Allow yourself to become excited about your home environment. Allow yourself to express yourself. Make your home a reflection of who you are. And don't be afraid of the fact that there's somebody in there that could be causing you to limit what you desire. That is not the energy that's supported. You need to express yourself. You need to stop pleasure seeking or being a people pleaser. And the pleasure that you seek in this is that there's an equality in the relationship. I don't care if you moved in somebody's home and it's that person's home on the deed. Like, it is still a reflection of you, and you still are connected to that home, and you still deserve equality in your home, how it's expressed, how it reflects, and as well as how comfortable you are in that home. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi Scorpio, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mercury going direct in Capricorn. So for you, this is a gorgeous, delish energy that is filled with nothing but a bouquet of possibility, which you kind of dig, right? Because that makes a Scorpio's turbulent dark waters a little more bearable for most all involved. So for you, this is all happening in your first house, right? This is your energy is sitting there, asking you to align yourself with what you deeply desire and feel incredibly passionate about. Now for you, I keep feeling, and although this may not apply to everybody, I know that there's a significant number of Scorpions out there that there's something you need to express. There's something that you need to relay. There's some sort of information that you need to align yourself and others with. This is not a skill of a Scorpio, but this is actually what is going to get you what you deeply desire. And if you can be vulnerable enough in this energy, I believe that there's the possibility to achieve alignment between what you desire and how you see it in your head with what you can actually have externally, which is extremely important for you to, just to let your guard down and to not get lost in the darkness of it, but to get lost in the potential and the enthusiasm, and to have all of the best attributes that come along with Scorpion energy, which is just perseverance, determination, just an utter focus on what you desire. So we have Pluto and Mercury in this house where information is starting to flow freely in your head, freely in how you align yourself with what you desire, but more importantly, freely to get others on board with this. If you were to let your guard down and start to let others in on what is going on in your mind. Now, this to me also screams, let's write, let's journal, let's write a book, let's pull the old ideas out from under the bed and start to really honestly implement those ideas into goal-oriented energy. Many of you have a very unique perspective on how you see life, and it is very needed in the world. Many of you hide it as some sort of secretive behavior that you feel that nobody's going to be able to comprehend. But I can assure you that something that resides deeply in you desires to get that out and have it be part of the mainstream of flow of thinking with others. This is an excellent, supportive, gorgeous time. If some of you guys want to, maybe some of you want to eventually write, be that writer, that mysterious dark writer. There is so much gorgeous support for now dark thinking. And so, look at all the SCIs and or CSI and the forensic shows and all the psychological thrillers that we have. Your thinking is actually gorgeously supported in this, investigative work, seeing what people can't see. That's actually really, and occult sciences are on the rise as well. So that you have a big spectrum to be able to have a voice where you didn't always normally with conservative, suppressed thinking. That's not where energy is anymore. Your energy is highly supported. So I do want to tell you, we have a couple negative energy sources out there that I want to communicate with you because I want you to stay in the highest form of all vibration. So for you, Mars is in Scorpio and it's squaring off with the sun in Aquarius. So I don't want this forward-thinking energy to discourage you. What this can do is intensify negative energy forms of expression. So as you start to express yourself, you could get some pushback from others who do not understand the way that you're effectively trying to communicate. You could be coming off very strong. And so that's going to make you want to regress and pull back. Don't allow that blockage to happen. Look, as we all develop communication skills, I am the queen of it. It is very difficult because I have my, in my 10th house, I have Aquarius energy. And so sometimes my energy is so forward thinking and it's so strong and it's such a unique concept that it really pushes people back from me. And, I can lose subscribe, whatever. I don't care. Because, as I've done this long enough, I'm starting to become aware that my unique thinking is actually valued. But there is pushback that's inevitable when you start to communicate about unique perspectives. And so you have to stay firm and stay strong in the fact that if you are communicating with somebody that doesn't understand your perspective, then what you need to do is align your thinking with looking at things from all perspectives and then communicate effectively in that area. It's very investigative. You're very in tune with body language and how others perceive you. So don't allow it to distract you from your goal, your initial goal. It's gorgeous energy. Pluto in Capricorn is squaring off with Uranian energy. So today these two energies could possibly clash and cause a communication issue. As you have all this forward energy and you're very in tune with energy, what you may do is when you initially start to communicate it, there's pushback. beware that that energy source is out there. In fact, it could be from an unexpected source. You could think that those people we're starting to understand that your line of the way that you think and communicate, and then there's some sort of emotional reaction that you didn't predict coming from them. It's Uranian thinking. It's in a square with all this. Authority is probably the one that you want to watch the most, especially if it's in an energy like a boss at work, a manager, head of a household. Beware of communicating with those types of energies, because they're probably going to be in the lower form. I would think that this energy is more supported with people that you have, some sort of creative alignment with, people that you that's in your circles of like a romantic endeavor, people that understand the way that you express yourself on a normal basis. That's going to be where the sweet spot for you to pull out of your shell. Negative thinking is going to be in those authority figures. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi Sagittarius, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mercury going direct in Capricorn. Now, for you, finally you get to have a little bit of nudge from the universe. You have been ordained lately. You have had the most beautiful, gorgeous energy, and I haven't even had a negative energy source to talk about with you, and I've been kind of jealous, I'm not going to lie. But in this energy, you're getting a nudge because you've been caught in trine energy. And unless you are nudged, you may not want to change your outcome. But we have Mercury moving forward in Capricorn energy. Your ruler right now is conjunct with the North Node. So there is this desire to want to take a look at your overall outcome. This is in your career, life, path, destiny. And for many of you, that has all different types of meanings, because that is the direction that your life goes. And so that can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. For some of you, that's an incredible spiritual awareness, right? For some of you, that is a realignment with your career and the path that you would like it to go. How you want it to be elevated, how you want to seek empowerment in your job, how you want to stabilize your job, how you want to create the goals in your job. So initially you may have embarked upon a journey and created your own business, and then you've just been kind of coasting, but now this is revisiting the goals of outcomes of what you thought you would be, how far you thought you would be at this point in this business. For some of you, that is taking that next level in your job and creating or going to the next level, meaning that you're starting to want to seek out being an authority figure in that particular career aspiration. So that's a big deal. It's a big, big, huge part of you. More importantly, what this does is align you with the value that you align yourself with. So is there a level in your life that you've attained where you see yourself as being valuable in that particular company, or in that particular organization? If that is true, then there is a certain level of compensation that you should be getting at this point, and you're going to revisit the goal that you had set at this point in your life, where there's some sort of recognition that you're finally getting, and the energy is finally supporting all of the hard work that you've been pouring into this goal. And so now you're reassessing how much value you place on the level of service that you have for this particular company or this career or this life path destiny. So you're reassessing all of that. Now, it can be hard when you are trying to align yourself with your career, life path destiny to balance out the home and family environment. and all that you wanted to attain at this level in your life. This could go, say some of you are just wanderers and you do not have a home and family. Well then, as a child, what did you see yourself? How did you see yourself being valued at this point? What level of compensation were you at this point in your life? When you were a kid, when you desired this initial recognition, you know, maybe you went through school, maybe you went, you know, you elevated your thinking to a certain level. And so, you know, at this point, say you wanted to become a doctor, and say you've been involved in your practice for quite some time, but you know, there's this level of compensation, this certain type of clientele that you desire at this point. That is where you're starting to see yourself and align yourself with. Now, where you fall into the lower vibrations in this energy is your ruler, which is conjunct with Virgo, is squaring off with Saturn and squaring off with Venus in this energy. So Saturn is aligning you with a belief system that there is something special about you. There is something that is elevated about you, and you are a moving forward energy that people need to actually look up to and follow. And as you are going through this manifestation, this transformation, this gorgeous energy where you are starting to understand just how important your role is to your career, life path, destiny, you're setting the trend in that area. There can be sometimes where you doubt the level that you have, your actual contribution that you have in this particular field. And as you do this, this aligns you with how you see yourself, how you value yourself. And so as you struggle with this type of recognition that you're starting to get, it's not a confidence issue so much as it is just an understanding of exactly what you had to give your field. The change, the unique perspective, the future of your particular goal. That is your ruler conjunct with the North Node. So this is ascension level stuff. This is big stuff. You are taking you're setting the trend. And I know that sounds crazy, but you also have to learn how to have confidence when you're setting a trend, because as you're setting a trend, you are literally the force that is setting that trend. You have to have the voice. You have to value yourself enough to have an opinion that stands out. You have to not follow the way that the field is going as much as you are setting the trend of that field. And that is scary crap, right? So we have Mercury in Capricorn conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, but we have Saturn, control, limitation, pulling you down and humbling you. It really is asking you to take a look at you. Really honestly, you're a figurehead. You're a forward-setting energy. And if you are off pleasure-seeking and having a good time, being overly optimistic and being scattered in your energy and too mutable, Saturn's going to come and open a can of whoop-ass on you. And Saturn's not fun. I went through Saturn in Leo right before you guys are going through your Saturn in Sagittarius. And it's a bitch. I hate Saturn. But through Saturn's lessons, I learned to be very confident in forward energy. I'll yield. I'll never yield again. And I'm very set in the way that I see myself. And I'm very set in how I move forward and how I get what I want. And you know what? Saturn's no match for me, because I sat in our classroom and I learned from this beautiful, majestic energy. There are times when it's not about me, it's about the bigger picture. It's about forward energy. It's about guiding. It's about being helpful to others. It's about elevating others' learning. It's not all about pleasure seeking in what I want. It's about being a contribution to others and elevating their learning. And that is where you're at. And for some of you that are caught in this decadent energy of pleasure seeking and training and making it all about you, you are going to be in a hell of a bad place with this, because Chiron is going to open up some wounds that you're going to be faced with, where you are going to meet humility. And that is a beautiful thing. Don't get lost in this energy. It is gorgeous to meet humility, to talk to humility, to understand humility, to comprehend that being humble is a blessing. It's a beautiful blessing and energy. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Capricorn, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and I'm sorry, for some reason it didn't record your side of the reading. I don't know what happened to it. So for you, Saturn is going to be working in your 12th house at this time. This is working behind the scenes. This is aligning your personal power with your thought processes about being exceptionally goal-oriented, but goal-oriented in areas that really involve a personal side of yourself. So this energy is in a blissful state. It is having a lovely conversation with the sun in Aquarius. So this is highly inventive energy. This is a goal that has the ability to have some sort of future aspect regarding it, as well as some sort of past-based knowledge to back up this future concept. It is beautiful energy and aligning yourself with your career, life path, destiny. This is looking at the pros and cons and weighing them out. You're going to be able to, at some point, think about this energy as far as how it applies to something that you've done, and when you in your life, or that you've tried this goal, or that you've even thought about this goal prior to this, but there may have been some missing pieces to actually really get some lift off on that creative endeavor, that life path destiny goal. But now I think the timing is going to be more to your liking. Now, you may feel in this energy that many of the goals, both past-based and current goals, are finally at that starting point. I think you're starting to feel like, you know, there's recognition by authority figures. If that's what you're desiring, you are maybe starting to get some recognition in a, you know, and maybe a goal that you're trying to seek as far as in, you know, advancing your position in a company, possibly to a management. Maybe some management is starting to recognize the asset that you are, and or maybe you're starting to get closer to completing a goal that you've been working on for some time, but in the end you see it paying off. You see your life going to that next level that you were striving for. Work, your career, life path, destiny is bringing you significant satisfaction at this point. I think as Saturn is not throwing up any obstacles, but is actually quite benefic in this energy. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised that you get to have just this gorgeous energy when you align your personal power with the way that you seek personal satisfaction, as well as, you know, just the way that you genuinely feel and align your thinking with this particular endeavor. The negative vibration that I do see for you in this particular energy is that, so if you are coming on too strong and you're becoming too overconfident in the energy, and you are quite empowered and you feel that you are deserving. You could start to become pushy, and you could start to challenge authority and demand recognition, demand compensation for the fact that you are an asset at this point to the company. And that could start to make people look at you different and actually turn them off of the possibility of some of the progressive energy that they were perhaps thinking about implementing down the line. So, you know, you may get some pushback if you start to push your goals from authority figures and for investors. Like if some of you are trying to get a loan and you're going to a financial institution, or you're starting to combine your resources and partner with somebody because Venus is in Capricorn right now. You know, if you are trying to take the lead too much and you are not allowing others to have some sort of say in the structure of this particular endeavor, then you're going to find that there is some pushback that's involved with that, and they may not appreciate that whatsoever. So just be mindful of this, how strong you, even though you are aligned, and even though you do see this as being something that, you know, inevitably will get you to the goal, and that this forward energy is giving you some insight, allow others to get on board with what you see. I think that's going to be essential in this energy. Just don't come off too intense. Be very, very mindful that you can be hypercritical of those who are not as elevated as you, and you can have a condescending tone in this energy. Now remember that Pluto at this time is squaring off with Uranian energy. So you could start to come off really well, and then all of a sudden Uranian energy comes in here and really honestly becomes, you know, very off-putting in this energy if you're not mindful of that. I don't see it being terribly negative as long as you're mindful of the impact that you have on this particular endeavor, and mindful of how your impression. You want to be charming in this energy. Remember, you got to utilize all the energy sources, and right now all of the energy sources, especially if you're trying to attain a goal, really has Venus backing them up. And so, you know, you can have a certain kind of flair when it comes to conversations. You can get people's attention by being somewhat diplomatic. Still be directional, but be diplomatic. And it's almost like a form of manipulation, but not to the degree where I think that you're manipulating to get something from somebody as much as you are trying to get them on board with your forward energy at this point. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi Aquarius, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mercury going direct in Capricorn. You do not like limitation, dude. You are not a person who gets caught in reflective energy too often. So when you do, you're like, hella, that was a bummer. And you were working in a lot of 12th house work, not your favorite. And you're just this forward energy that has more to do than reflecting. But here's what you don't understand. Reflection involves, babe, I can hear that. Reflective energy involves fine-tuning. And that is where you need to focus on. You need to focus on the fact that you caught in the 12th house work, and that there was focus that needed to be placed on restriction, limitation in the past, and the unconscious realms, and in places where we often stuff that we don't want to actually face in the present. So for you, you are caught in this, even though we are out of Mercury being in retrograde, which pulls us definitely into the past in our thinking, and in our goals, and how we aligned ourselves with our goals, and how we sought power in the goals, right? How we had power, okay, so personal power is this really vital tool that we have. It allows us to persevere, focus, and set a goal to achieve, to overcome, or to at least achieve the goal. However, we've been caught in the past, and so we've been taking a look at how did we align ourselves with the momentum in the past, what goals we aligned ourselves with the past, who, more importantly, who we aligned our thinking with. And then what we needed to do was we needed to reassess that and fine-tune it, because for some, it was about a complete restructure in who we aligned ourselves with, especially who we sought power and who we identified ourselves with. So for you, all of this energy was very transforming, not in a good way. So your ruler is squaring off with Pluto and squaring off with Mercury moving direct, because here's the thing, some of you may not want to let go. When you fixate and you want something, what you do is your goal is to achieve. Okay, this is a beautiful futuristic type mentality, because you have to wrap your mind around a futuristic concept that nobody else can possibly conceive or think of. And then you have to persevere with this forward energy. But so you will meet a lot of resistance when you hit forward energy. And you know, that is what makes a Uranian thinker incredibly gorgeous. But, okay, so here the flip side of it, and the squaring off that we're going to be experiencing in all of this forward energy, this going direct and just, redirecting your thinking, is the fact that you are fixating on a past-based goal that you still want, even though it's limiting. Even though it was never meant to be your destiny, even though it was never meant to be your future. And that for you don't fly, because you fixate and you're like, I want what I want, I'm totally cool with what I want, and I'm gonna have it, and you do not yield to energy like this. Which is incredibly sexy, not gonna lie, because I love your Uranian thinking. Because here's the thing, all of my deep friends have been Uranian based, because I actually have my 10th house in Aquarius, and so I really fixate on that forward energy that kind of thinks outside of the box, or at least takes information from what's collective thinking, and then I stretch it. And that's what you like to do. You like to stretch it. And you don't want to let go of your focus, because you usually don't ever not get what you want. But as you have been facing in this energy with all this squaring off in Uranus, is maybe what you've wanted may have not been the best thing for you. But because of some issues that you had with your foundation, probably growing up, probably with a major authority figure in your life, probably with where you were investing your outcomes, your future, maybe in some sort of person that you may have looked up with in a company or in your career life path destiny, maybe it was steering you in the wrong direction. So you have just been veering back into the right direction. And so you've come across this unpleasant energy of like squaring off with authority, squaring off with a goal, squaring off with your thinking, with your psychology. And this has been a challenge, and it will continue to be as you move forward, because what you have to understand is you have to say goodbye to some limiting belief system that you have, because that is not forward energy. Forward energy is overcoming an obstacle, not staying stuck, not digging your heels in and just sticking it out no matter what. It's about, okay, that didn't work for me. Humility sets in and you say, okay, it's because of this issue that I did this, probably some sort of authority issue from your past, and moving forward and, you know, let bygones be bygones in this energy. So the beautiful energy, the high vibration, because I'm leaving with the high. I usually start with the high and end with the low and then kind of reiterate with the high. But for you, I really want to focus on the low because there's some lows going on. The high energy in this is that this full moon had everything to do with realigning many of your unions, your partnerships, your collaborations, and your relationships. The partners that you seek doesn't have to be those conventional partnerships, because let's face it, you don't really have conventional partnerships. You have very blurred boundaries when it comes to your partnerships. And so for some of you, when you blur these boundaries, what you inevitably do is you allow yourself some limiting belief systems in how you seek fulfillment in partnerships. And so what this is doing is realigning you and giving you a harmonious flow of passion, love, acceptance, fire. It's mutual fire energy. It is reigniting the fire in the right direction of passion, creativity, unique perspectives, love. It is also, you know, Saturn and Sagittarius in here is going to be training your ruler. And so this is about somebody loving you for the unique little cute freak you are. Let's face it, if you have any kind of Aquarian thinking, you're a freak. I'm a freak in my 10th house. I'm a freak in the astrology field. I don't think like anybody else. Are you kidding? The shadow period, I'm like, wah, wah. I am not about the shadow period. You know what I am? Mercury's direct. I'm direct. Like, I'm not going to get caught in the shadow confusion. Frack no. If I get green light go, I may have a little bit of resistance in the shadow period, but I'm like Mach 10, baby. I'm blowing through the shadow period. FYI. You know, and that's you. You're not about getting lost in confusion and I've been sucked into a square. F that, sugar daddy. You're going to be like, Trine energy is where I'm going to seek power. And you get right back on top. You never stay down. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner. And I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Dear Pisces, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mercury going direct in Capricorn. And for you, this is hopes, dreams, and wishes, friends, and social networking. So guess what? Beautiful! We get to move forward. Now you are so in tune with energy that the shadow period may actually make you reflective in this energy and may cause you to be cautious because you're not one of those headstrong, forward-seeking energies. Do it at all costs. You are in tune with energy on a different level. So for you, social media, friends, and groups may provide you with expansive opportunities as your ruler is going to be in a delicious sextile with Venus and Capricorn energy in your hopes, dreams, and wishes. This is a time for you to fixate and for you to become aware that if there is an opportunity, it is worth visiting, but being cautious in and allowing you're not going to be led in this energy as much as it is going to it's going to elevate your energy and your perspective. But this is a definite, you are very aware that this is going to take time. This is going to take nurturing these opportunities and these relationships. And you are going to be gorgeous in this energy. Water energy is enhancing the decision-making skills that you have only because your intuitive response to energy is going to come from absolute your alignment with energy. So I want you to align yourself with intuition versus the dangly carrot that somebody likes to, actually dangle in front of you. If you have hesitation, that is your intuition telling you that there is more to be revealed and that you need to be cautious of what needs to be revealed. Saturn in Sagittarius at this time is squaring off with your energy. This is about aligning you with your life path destiny. So if your intuition tells you to pull back and maybe be humble and be at peace and just understand that you're going to be directionally, you're going to go in a direction right now. You've been refined. Your thinking has been refined in the Mercury retrograde, and now you are goal-oriented. There is a certain level of intuitive energy that must play into expansive opportunity, and you are very mindful of that, and that is essential for success for you, especially when you are looking at elevating your lifestyle and creating your career life path destiny goals. Understand that this energy is coming from... It's so hard for me because I'm religious. So I believe in God. But for many of you that don't believe in God, it's just from that connection to energy that knows that there is, you could be aligned with the earth, you could be aligned with the animals, you could be aligned with your spiritual guides, and they will direct you. This comes from water purification. This is water energy at its finest. And you are blessed in this energy as you move forward. Venus and Capricorn energy is all about all of your senses. It's all about what. So I would go in the direction of what is pleasurable, not pleasure seeking, but is a pleasurable feeling. You want to connect with feelings, and that will help direct you toward the direction of the goal that you need to go. And the speed of which you pursue that goal is essential in this energy. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event.